And a very good evening, everybody. Baseball fans all over the world had a chance to watch the World Baseball Classic this year, and that included the talented young head coach of the Baseball Tetons.
It was probably some of the most entertaining baseball we've gotten to see. I think, watching Team USA lose is always tough. But I think it's good for the game because it just shows that it can be at its purest form, and we don't have to change 1,000 different rules every year in order to have a quality product. I totally get the idea of trying to speed the game up, but I think if the World Baseball Classic went on for another couple weeks, I don't think anybody would be too upset about it.
What about the injury factor if you're an owner of a club? I mean, you don't know if you want your aces out there. I mean, we lost a couple of good ones already.
For sure, and I think that you run the risk of playing baseball in spring training too, just as much as you do in anything else. If you're not competing, what are you doing? I get the idea of getting ready to play. I think the way to combat that, freak things are going to happen no matter what. I think the way that players and clubs can combat that is if they're going to play in the WBC moving forward, I think it's really important for them to maybe ramp up another month earlier. Start a little bit earlier. Make sure you're ready to go, especially from a pitching perspective. I don't think from a position player perspective that the injuries, like that you have a higher chance for injury. I think it's the level of competition in which, like, from a bullpen standpoint, when you're coming into a relief appearance in the WBC, you have 35+ thousand people there. It's a playoff type, World Series type atmosphere. The leverage in which you're pitching is not like a spring training game. When you're in a spring training game, it's very lackadaisical. It's almost kind of boring. You're just getting your work in physically. You're not even really mentally all that there. Where in those, like the tax of throwing a 20-pitch bullpen type situation in a WBC outing versus the tax of throwing a 40-pitch, 2 or 3 inning stint in a spring training game, they're drastically different.
Well explained, and of course, as all New York Met fans know and Houston Astro fans know, there were injuries. Met ace reliever Edwin Diaz hurt his leg during the celebration. He's done for the year. Jose Altuve was hit by a pitch in the hand. He's out at least 2 months. I said on the air my greatest concern was that the Twins, the Red Sox players, would get hurt, but certainly the action was great. And yes, I thought Mike Trout was going to homer off Shohei. He did not. His teammate with the Angels struck him out. But the big winner was baseball fans all over the world. All righty, Mason and his club hoping to be in Iowa this weekend playing ball, but the games have been canceled. Women's softball also off this weekend. They were hard at it this morning at the Arc trying to get ready for their conference season, hoping to improve upon last year's showing. Hopefully they're going to get a break with the weather. All right, Jordan Sullivan is an assistant coach on the Utah staff, the Sydney native, 61-61. We saw her quite a few times. We are pulling for the Utes. They've had a great season. So 61-61, not quite over yet. The men, Alabama and San Diego State. Alabama's got a good club, 13-13. Later on tonight, Miami and Houston. Then Princeton. Everybody's talking about them, those smart guys. Be taking on Creighton. And with that, folks, we take a timeout on First News at 6.